Back on Game Day Scoreboard, taking a look at another final. This was billed as one of the games of the week. Streaks on the line. The longest winning streak in the NFL belonged to the Jaguars. San Francisco, 3 straight in the loss column into the bye. Coming out of the bye, this is who they are. 34-3, outgaining the Jags, 437 to 221 in what was a defensive-led effort here by San Francisco, looking back to themselves. Any questions? We surely have a few. Joe Musso alongside Ryan Wilson here to break this one down. Ryan, from the opening snap, the San Francisco 49ers made a concerted effort to say, we are still the San Francisco 49ers. Off of 3 losses out of the bye, this performance tells you what?
We sort of joked about this earlier, right? Trent Williams, turns out he's sort of important to left tackle, and Deebo Samuel, their game changer at wide receiver / running back / slot / anywhere you want to put him. He had a big game. We saw Trent Williams out there in front blocking in that second half, ended around touchdown on the triple reverse, it looked like. And by the way, Brock Purdy remains a really good quarterback. 19-26, had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he continues to run Shanahan's offense exactly like Shanahan wants it run. Now, in those 3 losses you talk about, Joe, no Trent Williams, he got pressured. There was no Deebo Samuel, so you're relying on Ayuk and Kittles, and they were able to, defense were able to shut those 2 down and make Brock Purdy have to work, and we saw the result. Also, by the way, the defense had some issues. We know the Jordan Addison touchdown at the end of the second half on the all-out blitz, in which Steve Wilks had to answer questions about that, and the 2 other losses to the Bengals. Joe Burrow seemed to have his resurgent game for the 2023 season, and yet you take a week off, you get your guys healthy, and they're the exact same team we saw the first month of the season.
Offensively important are Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel. Only 59 all-purpose yards for Deebo in this one, but does get into the end zone, and so affects the way teams set up the defense against Brock Purdy. But for me, defensively, this is where the San Francisco 49ers got back to themselves. You got Hargrave, you got Bosa, and you got the new guy, all in the sack column. The pressure they created and the opportunities that creates then in the back end for San Francisco. This looked like a championship defense once again.
Absolutely, and we saw it here, them getting after, just collapse in the pocket with 3, 2.5 rushers if you want. That's sustainable. When you're rushing 2.5 players and then you have everyone else drop into coverage, 8.5 guys, if you will, dropping into coverage, and among those guys, Fred Warner had a pick. Hufanga had a pick. Charvarius Ward had that great play that was called back because they had so many men on the sidelines. So they are getting after defensively after a 3-game stretch in which they looked like we weren't sure who they were going to be. And I think you have to feel good about where the 49ers are when they're healthy. And that's the caveat, right? The other thing to keep in mind is that, and it's a cliche, but it's true because as we said there in the green room today, Joe, this is a week-to-week league. We see teams that we thought were dominant 6 days ago, suddenly finding themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard. Then we see teams like the 49ers having lost 3 in a row being where we thought they would be. Now, one of your favorite stats was over the last month or so, the Jaguars won 5 games in a month, in the month of October. Had never been done before for the Jacksonville organization. You sort of wonder where they're going from here because they did not look like a playoff caliber football team, at least on this Sunday.
How do you wipe it? How do you flush it? Because we know if they're going to look like the team that they did a month ago throughout the entirety of that month, they can be just about anybody. AFC side's going to be a gauntlet, no doubt about it. But the ceiling that they showed, do you flush this week? Yes, you're going to see competition of this ilk when it does get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you flush this week and move forward with the talent that you know you do have?
I think the first thing you do if you're Doug Peterson is you show the standings and remind your team that you're in the AFC South. So you're not in the NFC West. You're not in the AFC West. You're still in first place in the South. You're in a division where the Texans are the second best team in that division. We'll see how their game ends up on this afternoon in Cincinnati. But you also go back to what made you that team that won 5 games in October. And there's a lot of things to be excited about. We saw Trevor Lawrence force some throws. We saw Trevor Lawrence get pressured. We saw the running game struggle at times, and the defense get exposed. Devin Lloyd was exposed on that long touchdown to George Kittle and a great throw from Brock Purdy. The little things that you can fix, the little things that got you to this point, to those 5 wins in a row.
You're going to have to figure out how to run the ball against good defenses as well. Travis Etienne just 35 yards on the ground in this game. A lot happened in this matchup. A lot happening across the league, but what did not happen in this San Francisco 49ers game is all the story as well. Christian McCaffrey's touchdown streak comes to a close at 17 consecutive games. That is an NFL record, but tied for with Lenny Moore. He does not surpass Moore on this day. First time in a long time. CMC held out of the end zone, although in a win.
Got it covered.
Did you notice the defense coordinator on the sideline?
I guess that's the answer right there, huh? It was good. It was good having him down there, and the communication was flawless. And yeah, it was good having him down there.
Eric said he could feel his energy.
I was just saying, did you have an opportunity to, were you in his ear at all during the game, between series?
You know, I think it was pretty similar, honestly. I think the thing was just kind of like us being like we just going into it. We wanted to make sure the communication was good in terms of the microphone. Him getting the calls to me, and I thought he did a great job.
That was the first time he could directly speak to you during
Yeah,
the calls,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Any difference, like just what that was like?
There's always going to be an adjustment period. I don't know if he's ever done it, honestly, because I know he's always been in the box. So I think he did a great job being down there today.
Did you guys come out today feeling like you had something you needed to prove as a unit?
I mean, I'd say so. Obviously, there's been we had 3 games that just wasn't us, you know, and we had to get back to playing 49er football, especially on the defensive side. And I've spoken on it. You know, we had to take pride in what we were putting on tape, and today I feel like we did that.
Do you feel like the defensive line set the tone for today's game? 3 sacks in the first half, 5 sacks by the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, I think as a group, you know, I think we played complementary football. I think obviously up front we got a lot of pressure up front to make his life difficult, and in the back end, you know, using our disguises and being sticky and covered. I think that's what kind of made it a little difficult for Lawrence.
Frank, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Lawrence gets the ball out really quick usually, and he was patting it a little bit today. What were you doing on the back end there, just kind of forcing that?
Yeah, I think early on just giving them different looks, you know, not just you know, we wanted to make sure we gave great disguises in the back end to give those guys up front more time to kind of make them pat that ball, and just, you know, give them a lot of different looks throughout the game.
Talk about the defensive line and the back end. The second level, you guys have some decent players there too. Dre Greenlaw, he was banged up the last couple of weeks. Did you notice more of a pep in his step today? I think he led the team in tackles.
Absolutely. Anytime we got Dre out there healthy, it completely changes the defense. He's such a great player. Love playing alongside of him. The physicality that he brings, the hunt to the football, playmaking ability, he does it all. So it was big having him back out there healthy.
How do you think Chase Young fit in?
I think he fit in great. I guess that was the missing link right there to playing dominant defense again. So it was so good having him out there, man. He brings such great energy. He's obviously such a physical and dominant player. So I'll have to watch the tape to see how he truly did. But it felt like his presence was felt.
A couple more for Fred.
Toughest interception you ever made?
Yeah, that was pretty tough, man. I have to say, Trevor Lawrence, he throws a good ball. It came a nice spiral to me. That's my bad. I should have said that. But
You could sense it was coming the way the pressure was getting to him.
yeah, you know, just kind of the flow of the game. I felt like all game I'd been kind of jumping the check down when we were in zone coverage, and so later in the game, kind of got to have a situation. I sunk back a little bit in that dig window, and he just threw it.
What have you seen from Ambry Thomas during practice throughout the week?
Man, just confidence. You know, confidence, and that's truly the difference right now. I feel like he's been getting better and better every week, just waiting for his opportunity, and I think he made the most of it today. Obviously, he made that big play on the sideline, but you know, I think he just competed his tail off all week and then leading into today.
Anything else?
All right.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, guys.
Conversations with Steve Wilkes on the sideline during this game?
A little bit. I felt his energy. He's, you know, came up to us, congratulated us on some plays, and, you know, that voice of telling us to keep going and, you know, don't let up. And so, yeah, I definitely felt him on the sideline.
How did you feel that Nick has played well, but he hasn't been filling up the stat sheet? Did you feel something different from him today?
Nothing different. Nick's just been doing what he has been doing. We finally had a quarterback who held on to the ball for a little bit, and we were able to show up in the stat sheet today. But Nick's been playing great all year. You know, whatever the criticism, you know, that comes with getting a big contract, but Nick has been dominant in the pass and run game. He has been all year, and, you know, it showed up in the stat sheet today, but he's been doing that all year.
Lawrence has been one of the quickest this year at getting the ball out. You mentioned he was holding it a little bit today. What was working that he was able to make that?
Really tying the front and the coverage. You know, the guys on the back end were, you know, we were disguising things. We were, you know, mixing it up, and that allowed us, you know, guys being sticky in coverage allowed us that extra hitch, and, you know, confusing him. And, you know, once we were confused him, you know, he was looking to scramble, and our job was to keep him in the pocket and get him down.
Do you see any change in him? Because you guys got a couple right off the bat on third down. I think their first 2 third downs you guys had 6. Do you see anything in him like, oh, this is going to be one of those days where we may have to hold it a little bit longer and you can take advantage?
Yeah, when it starts out early, it could turn into one of those special days for you up front, and we definitely had a good day up front, but got a lot more to go. We can continue to get better, and we weren't perfect out there, so it's great feeling to get a win. Hadn't felt that in a while, and it was great to play well, but turn the page for sure.
Did you
What
guys
happened on the one play where it looked like you took one in the shin?
I didn't take one in the shin. He tripped me, kicked me in my knee, and kind of messed up my day. But
did you guys as a unit feel that you had something to prove after the way things had gone and the criticism you might have been hearing?
I mean, we know who we are. We know what we're capable of. We have an extremely high standard for ourselves, bigger than any people or any outside people can put on us. We want to be great. We want to be dominant. We want to play at a high level, and we know our team is going to need us to do that if we want to get to where we want to go. So any outside, you guys need to do this. We already put pressure and a sense of responsibility on ourselves to go out there and put the team on our back and win games.
Was it just a bruise or something?
Yeah, I should be straight.
You say something back to him when you faced him again?
No, I didn't know what happened. I had a lot of respect for him, but tripping me, kicking me in my knee, could have got seriously hurt. It was just a dirty play.
All right, thanks. Christian, right here.
How would you assess your performance today?
Really good team win. Just complimentary ball all around. And a good kind of reset for us to keep going.
Could you kind of feel that Chase brings a little bit more juice just because of the numbers that it creates for your D-line?
Yeah, I mean, having him is such a big threat. I think we play off of each other well, and me and him are really excited to keep going.
You guys combined on that sack early in the second quarter, Nick. At that point, did you guys feel that you had that game under control by then?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was only a touchdown lead at the time, so definitely didn't let up at all. Our back end did an unreal job mixing things up and kind of confusing Trevor, and I think we got more ops than we've had all year by far.
Beyond just the opportunities, did you feel like just the coverage being tied to the pass rush was at a better level than it had been for most of the season?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes matchups work certain ways, like not a lot of teams have done what we just did to them, so we just have to keep improving, keep taking it one game at a time, because I mean, we've played really well as a D-line in certain games throughout this year and not so good in other games, but when you have these opportunities, you got to make the most of them.
Kyle said you especially like coming and playing in Florida. Did you feel that? Did you feel extra?
I did. Right when I stepped off the plane, I felt the humidity, and it was just so good.